So the new Lilo and Stitch movie is in theaters, and it's got you feeling a little nostalgic. You think you might want to pick up a Stitch action figure, but we've got a few options, and you don't really know which one's worth your money. Well, today I'm going to go through my top 3 Stitch action figures in my collection and let you know worst to best, which one's worth the buck, and which one you should definitely stay away from. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Just Justin Collects YouTube channel, everybody. My name is Justin, and I am a action figure collector. If you're new around here, toy enthusiast. If you're new to this channel, if this is the first video you're seeing, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you stay tuned Saturday nights at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Collecting Justified live stream. We do it every Saturday night. Me, David, Alexi, Kenny, and Andrew, we talk toys, we justify our collecting, we have a lot of fun. But today, we're going to go over some Stitch action figures from the very well-known Disney movie, Lilo and Stitch. As you know, the live-action remake is currently in theaters, so I figured, well, best time to kind of talk about my favorite Stitch action figures. I have a honorable mention, or a couple honorable mentions, really, that came in a multi-pack. We'll get to that here in a second. But the main figures we're going to be talking about today are none other than, we have the Revoltech Stitch. It's not in here. These have been long unboxed. We have the Neca Stitch. He's not there, but that's what he looks like right here. This is the newest figure. The Revoltech is a re-release. It's kind of older. And we have everybody's favorite company. It's a little controversial, Super7, and this is a huge box. So we're going to go through these 3 figures, and I'm going to let you know what I like and what I don't like about them, and we'll go over in order. I'll start with my least favorite, and then we'll work our way up. But before that, I will get into an honorable mention. Let's go to the review table. Alright guys, so here are our top 3 Stitch figures that are available for purchase out there on the market right now. I'm sure there's some other options that I might be missing, like some older options, but here we go. Here is the Revoltech on my far right, the Neca Elvis Stitch in the middle, and the Super7 on the left. And as you can see, the Neca scale is a little smaller, which is weird because it's normally a 7-inch scale. But the Revoltech and the Super7 are basically the exact same height. So just to get you an idea here, here's the trusty tape measure. You can see the Revoltech up to the top of the ears. You're looking at about 4 and almost 3/4 inches tall. The top of the head, you're looking at a little under 4 inches right there. And you can tell with the Super7, it's the same, maybe more like 4.5 inches to those ears, really. But with the Elvis, look how much smaller that guy is right there. That is a good bit smaller, about 3.5 inches tall to the top of the hair. So, you can tell we've got some different styles here. Of course, the Neca one, the Elvis Stitch, is a lot more stylized because it's, meant to represent one certain thing. But I was really surprised. I expected the Super7 Stitch to be a lot bigger than the Revoltech, because I've had the Revoltech the longest, and I got Super7, and recently I got the Neca Stitch. So, I'm going to go through these one at a time, starting with my least favorite and working my way up to my favorite. But before I do that, I did want to give an honorable mention. So, here we go. Here is the Pixar Disney Storytellers line Stitch. I believe this is Mattel that makes these. Yes, it's Mattel. And it's well articulated. It comes in a 3-pack, so you get regular Stitch. You can see his size right there. He's a little smaller than the Neca Stitch. And so, just for reference, there we go. Right about under 3 inches tall to the top of the head. But he comes in a 3-pack. You get Alien Stitch with his little gun, and you get a Lilo. So this is Storyteller's line. They're all like 3-packs. It's around like $14.99 or $15.99. You usually find them in Walmart's, Targets. You can find them on Amazon, BBTS sometimes. Just go to Google and type in Storytellers, and it'll take you to all the different links where it's available. You can also find them on the aftermarket, but they're usually marked up a little bit. This is a good set, though. So this is a good alternative if you just want to pay like 15 bucks and get a decently articulated Stitch. And, you know, the Lilo. And they're all articulated. The Lilo's got like a rubber overlay, so she doesn't move too much. The head moves, the arms move a little bit, and the legs move. But got that overlay that's going to limit everything. But you can have a little Lilo. That's she's way too small next to the other Stitches. I guess she could work with the Neca Stitch, but way too small next to the Revoltech and the Super 7. But looking at the Storyteller's one, you can see the ears move, the arms are on a hinge and a swivel, and the legs swivel as well. Nothing in the waist. The head is on a little ball joint there. So, pretty good articulation, and, you know, it's the exact same articulation for this guy for the Alien Stitch. So, if you're a Stitch fan, you see the Storyteller's set somewhere for around like 15 bucks, go ahead and pick it up. You won't be disappointed, in my opinion. But the three main figures we've got here in front of me, let's start at my number 3, my least favorite out of the 3. Alright, so coming in at number 3 is actually the newest Stitch figure in my collection. The Elvis Stitch from Neca, the Neca's Ultimate line. You can see here the box. It's pretty simple packaging. See the image on the side, on the back. So, my biggest pet peeves with this figure, it's just not executed right. It looks good. The scale's fine, and it comes with a good amount of accessories, honestly. But it's just, I gotta get into it. So, let's go over the positives. Everything he comes with. He comes with a removable hairpiece here. See if I can get the camera to focus. And then he comes with a couple alternate styles here. So, 3 hairpieces in total. There we go. The head on the figure currently comes with a little snarling head with his mouth kind of half cocked open. With these ears are removable. They're kind of down ears. I guess like timid. Here is a angry head. His mouth full open. And the head I currently have on mine with the mouth closed and the ears that are up. So, you see the ears are interchangeable with any of the heads, so however you want them, and they swivel. Also, the eyes are all interchangeable. Let's see here if I can pop this out pretty easy on camera. There we go. See? That's not nightmare fuel at all. But all the eyes pop out and are interchangeable, so there's slight differences with all of them. So, pop that back in. Honestly, right here with these, I guess it's just mainly the shape of the eye. It doesn't look too different to me. Maybe the pupil's a little bigger. Oh, see, there's an issue right there. Leave that hairpiece off. And you got the squinted eyes on this one that are removable. We put them anywhere. And you also get a set of fully closed eyes as I drop one. That also, you get the hands I have on him right here, these fully open hands. And he gets a set of kind of like grabbing kind of hands. If I can get my camera to focus. Yeah, I guess that's the way I would describe that, kind of grabby hands. And then you get a chair. So he can't really sit in the chair too well, but I guess it's a nice accessory. You can have it behind him, like on your shelf, I guess. So, and of course, I have the guitar on him right here. So let's take that guitar off. I'm going to pop this head off right there. There you go. And then let's pop Stitch's head back on. So, positives, a good amount of accessories, and he looks pretty good. The paint on the teeth isn't necessarily the cleanest. You can see there's, if I can get it to focus, there's some blue paint on the white of my teeth on that one, and this one as well. So, But so you have options, and the body, the head is on that ball joint, so you get tilt and turn. The ears articulate, they swivel. You get your arms go up. This figure is very tight, and it's a single jointed elbow right there, and the hands are on a swivel. Nothing at the waist, and here we go. So mine right there has a very loose arm. So, but you got the legs that move like that. So yeah, this isn't really a review to go over articulation or anything. I just want to give a basic run now of how you can see how they move comparable to each other. This thing is very disappointing. As you can see, an eye is about to pop off, it looks like. But so when you're switching the heads, the eyes tend to pop out. But when you want to actually change out the eyes, they can be kind of hard to pop, you know. But my biggest thing is this arm just does not want to stay on. I don't know if it's a QC issue with mine or if other people have had the same issue. But overall, this is my least favorite. I honestly think I wouldn't recommend picking this figure up to anybody, to be honest with you, unless you're a huge Stitch fan and you just really want to have it and it's going to stand on the shelf and look nice. And also, the hair pieces don't actually click or clamp on. There's this little divot in there, just supposedly the right size for the hair, so it sits on. Second you move it though, oh now it wants to stay on. Usually the second you move it, see, it's making me out to be a liar. But I'll take that one off, put this one on, little swishy hair. That one doesn't want to clip on at all. You move it, and yeah. So I wouldn't recommend this one to anybody unless you just want to have an Elvis Stitch. It's a mess, and that's why it's number 3 out of these 3 collector Stitch figure items. Let's move on to a much better figure after this one. And I can't remember if I said it or not, but of course this is at that Neca Ultimate price point. This is at that $34, so it's not a cheap figure, but it's not an expensive figure either. And just quick, I know I showed them all side by side, but here's a basic 6-inch figure. This is the Hasbro Lightning Collection Ninja Turtle crossover Michelangelo. So you see, the Stitch doesn't like to stand up. Stand up, Stitch. There we go. So you can see he's pretty small. Pretty small. Alright, so moving on to number 2, and this might surprise some people, but I've got to go with the Revoltech Stitch, and yeah, that means you might know who number 1 is. But, so with the Revoltech, it is the most expensive one, typically. It's around $50 to $60 retail. And then whatever import, taxes, shipping or whatever you have to pay. I will say that right now, there is a version of this on AliExpress for $20. I don't know if they're shipping to the US right now with everything currently going on. And I'm also not sure if it's a knockoff or not. This is for sure a legit of the re-release. So approach AliExpress, at your own risk. But $20 is $20, right? Anyway, so with this thing, this is the re-release. The original release went for, on the aftermarket, for over $300. Yes, you heard that right. $300. That is insane. So this guy is a little taller than the Neca Stitch, like I showed off. Again, for reference, right there, the handy dandy tape measure. And let me get Michelangelo back over here. Don't ask me why I'm using the Lightning Collection Michelangelo figure. It was just readily available. So there we go. You see, that's that scale. So let's move Michelangelo out of the way, and you can see I've got some accessories on this Stitch. The sunglasses just kind of sit on there. So that's what you're working with. But to really appreciate what he comes with, this is the box. Definitely more extravagant than the Neca box. So you see you get an extra like top half of his head. So this one is different. So you don't get whole like full on extra heads. You get, look at that nightmare fuel. But it's like a faceplate more type of thing, just like the top part of the head. And the antennas do come off. So you can have him looking like his alien self, which is unique to this one. The other two don't have that option. Or you can have him without the antennas. Same goes for the extra arms. They just unpeg right there. You have him regular 2-arm Stitch or 4-arm Stitch. It also comes to this little snow cone. You see it right there. And the little back antenna right there that unpegs right there. So I choose to have him like this, you know, with the extra arms and all the antennas looking like his alien angry self, because I also have the Super7 Stitch on the shelf, and that's a more plain, I don't want to say plain, but regular looking Stitch. So this guy is a darker shade of blue, and we'll get into that a little more when I get the Super 7 up here. Articulation, it's good. He has a waist swivel. You get a lot of clearance on that joint right there. His mouth is articulated, and the ears are articulated. Single jointed elbows on the top arms. I mean, you can flip these if you want. The extra arms you get aren't really articulated. You get a swivel at like the hand and that joint peg right there, whatever you want to call it. But you can like move these arms around. You can move the hands around and all that good stuff. So this guy doesn't come with a lot, but what he does come with is, you know, pretty neat. You get display options, and it is a solid figure. It's a good figure, and it's a lot of fun, and I would highly recommend it. Just do not, I repeat, do not spend $300 on this guy. You know, just scour the aftermarket, try to get a good deal. I don't know if they're still available on websites like, I don't know if 5K Toys ever had it, like Hobby Link Japan, stuff like that. Any import website, you know, Ami. There's different options. And if you can't find it on any of those, and you want to risk the AliExpress route, like I said, $20 free shipping from what I've seen, it's a good deal. So I guess I can show off real quick. So the only other alternative piece here is this, like I said, extra top part of the head. You pop that off. So you can see there's a little port right there that pegs into, and that gives it the articulation and that swappability. You just gotta line it up just right. There we go. And you have like a less angry Stitch. More happier Stitch. He also, of course, on this has the peg holes for those antennas as well. So, but fixing back up, I have on my shelf, he's angry. He's got his sunglasses on. Or I guess he doesn't look that angry with the sunglasses on. Take them off, you can see he's squinting. He's mad at you. But I've got him with his snow cone, which is painted very well, by the way. Oh, look, you can have it like that. But yeah, this is my second favorite. So let's get into my favorite Stitch figure right now. Alright, so of course, by process of elimination, that means my favorite Stitch figure in my collection, and the one I recommend the most, I would say, is the Stitch from Super 7, the Super 7 Ultimates line. To me, this is kind of the definitive Stitch. He looks a lot more, he looks just like the most accurate, because I love the Revoltech, but as you can tell, it's a much darker shade of blue. So this one right here, the Super 7, not only does it come with the most accessories, to me it is just as well articulated as the Revoltech. He doesn't have the options to turn him into like his more alien form with the extra arms and all the antennas, but just look at that. That is movie accurate. So And speaking of accessories, I do have the hand with the blaster, like the little ray gun or whatever you want to call it, with the carrot in it from that one.
You shouldn't play with guns.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
So this one comes with a lot of scene-specific, of course, movie-specific accessories. So that's what I've got him with right there. And quick reference again, the tape measure, bam, right there. And he's, like I said, it's the same size as the Revoltech, but let's go ahead and get our size comparison for the day right there. Lightning Collection Michelangelo Power Ranger. So it might be kind of hard to get in the camera here, but this box, and it's one of my favorite things about Super 7. You got the nice slip cover and all of these accessories. Move the camera back. Just look at that. So many accessories. Nice readout on Stitch here. Super 7 does not skimp out on their packaging. So give me 1 second. Let me get these accessories out of the box and show you exactly what Stitch comes with. Alright guys, so it is really hard to get all of these accessories in this shot at once. Because, let me tell you, Super 7, for all their faults, they did not skimp out on the accessories with this Stitch. So, for, reference, I took the gun hand off of him. And so he comes with 2 open hands right there. Those are really the only 2 true interchangeable hands that he comes with. So could that be a gripe? He doesn't come with any regular grippy hands? I guess, but in their place, like this hand comes holding the gun, so they didn't have to designate like a specific hand to hold the gun itself. It's just molded on. You can tell it's pretty cool. The paint on the carrot on mine, I don't know how well that's coming across on camera. It's not the best, but it works. And that is a right hand. And also right-handed is a hand holding the snow cone, much like the Revoltech snow cone there. So I like that the Super 7 one is more translucent, so that looks cool. But they're about the same size, so that's pretty neat. And another thing that the Revoltech has, that this one comes with, is the sunglasses. The Super 7, it's not as shiny, it's more translucent. They feel cheaper. The Revoltech ones are better quality, I'll tell you that much right now. And have like a bluish tint to the lenses. These are just straight, kind of like, yeah, they're just not as good. Going back to hands though, these aren't true hands, but they're oven mitts. And you see they got their peg in there where they peg right onto the arm. So, before we get into the heads, he also comes with a bendy wire superhero cape. Look at that. So, it just goes on him just like that. Just kind of stays on there. Friction, the wire comes all the way up, so you just kind of bend it. And you can have him being superhero Stitch. Isn't that cool? That's cool that they included that. They could have easily made it, without a bendy wire. I appreciate them giving it a bendy wire. Also, this ginormous, look at that. Ginormous. I guess it was a cake from the movie or bread or something, like it showed him, I think it was at the end of the movie, him getting it out of the oven, and that's specifically what the oven mitt hands are for from that scene. Also, with the cape, you also get the Stitch superhero head. I believe it's a bra, right? On his head, I think. You also get this goofy head. It's like, I guess, licking a booger out of his nose. A squinty eye. And And 2 more heads. You get one with a plunger that doesn't come off. It's molded on. All these have like articulated ears, except the superhero one doesn't have ears. And you get the chef's hat Stitch, again, to go with the cake or bread or whatever that is, and the oven mitts. So, and as you can tell, all the heads have slightly different facial expressions, and that's cool. I just wish that like these parts had some way of like, whether it was like a magnet in the top of the heads, like being interchangeable, so you could have the plunger on either head, you could have the chef's hat on any of the heads. That'd be cool. No articulated jaw. So, I mean, you get these different looks, but with this one, like the ears are this way. You can probably, all the ears are slightly different, like shaped. You could probably, yeah, you can pop these out and interchange them. So, yeah. So, you can do that. But I get worried with moving Super 7 figures around too much. But this Stitch, it does feel good. The articulation is very close to the Revoltech. So where the Revoltech has like a waist swivel, this has a ball joint up, like the upper waist up here, that you get all that twist from. Single jointed pinless elbows, not as much range as the Revoltech, and the arms come up, and you're basically past that, you're looking at the same except no articulated jaw. So it really just comes down to preference. I prefer the Super 7 Ultimate one because to me it just gives me the most options. It looks like Stitch straight out of the movie. But I think if you could take this Super 7 one and give it the articulated jaw of the Revoltech and make all like these extra pieces, like have just a magnet in the head and have all these magnetized, and you can swap all the hats and accessories around, like that would just be the perfect Stitch figure. Maybe also, yeah, take the little alien accessories that the Revoltech one comes with and able to put those on this. That'd be cool too. But since I have this one, like, there's just a perfect Stitch somewhere between these two. So, I mean, your favorite one might differ. This is my list. I think the Super 7 one is definitely, the Super 7 Stitch is definitely the best Stitch available out there. And it comes out at retail $55. That's a lot for an Ultimate. Super 7's prices are high, but when you're looking at $50 to $60 for the Revoltech retail, I don't think that's too bad in comparison. I will say that Super 7 Ultimates have a habit of going on sale. So I've seen Stitch as low as, I think it was like $25 on Big Bad Toy Store at one point. Check Amazon, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth. You might catch a deal. I'd say if you can get it for around that $30 to $35 price point, that's the sweet spot. But if you want a definitive Stitch, you can't go wrong with either of these two right here. But my preference, I think, the Super 7 Ultimate Stitch barely beats out the Revoltech one, and the Neca is not a comparison. The Neca figure is like, just throw it in the trash compared to these two. These two are infinitely better. More expensive, but both infinitely better in their own way. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, I know I rambled, but you know, it's just a fun video talking about Stitch. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Tune in every Saturday night at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me, David, Kenny, Alexi, and Andrew for our Collecting Justified live stream, where we come together, talk toys for a couple hours, and do our best to justify our collecting. If you love toys, you love collecting action figures, this is the place for you. That is the live stream for you here on the Just Justin Collects channel. Thank you for watching this video. Until next time, stay justified, and I appreciate you.